That uses sound to scan the seabed and over time build up a picture of what's down there. And this is made up of substantial numbers of little soundings or dots that when you aggregate them together make a 3D model, much like this. The sound emanates from the bottom of the ship, which has a number of survey sensors mounted on the hull, and as the vessel proceeds across, in this case, a wreck, it's able to scan the wreck and geolocate where these various points are, so we know where they are in a 3D grid. And when we pull those all together, then we get these really nice high-resolution 3D models. So that's how we see objects on the seafloor. In terms of how that relates to charts, if you imagine this chart is the water surface, the sea surface, our data which underpins the chart is this 3D model of aggregated data all pulled together, and all these features you see on the seabed correlate to the objects that are defined on the chart itself. And that's the link between navigation of vessels at sea with actually what's there in terms of objects on the seafloor, features, the morphology of the seabed. And it allows us...
Who has access to this?
To the data?
Yeah.
Everybody. We provide it to the UKHO, and that data is provided across government. There are memorandums of understandings in place, so the likes of DEFRA, JNCC, all of our environmental colleagues can use the data to be able to pull what they need out of the information that we acquire.
And what about organisations outside?
We can make data available. They tend to not be able to use the data in quite the same way we can because there's just so much of it. But it can be used. The issue that presents itself there is that we target areas specifically for navigation risk. So we're interested in where the vessels are going to go, making sure that the data is current. Our environmental colleagues and marine engineers, for example, might be interested in something over here where there's a wind farm, so we may not have surveyed there. So there's only a limited amount of use. No, not of... I mean, our remit extends to this red line that goes around the UK coastline now, and these blue boxes represent those areas that we've already surveyed. Just going from this year, we've let £7 million worth of work across 2 contractors, which has resulted in 17 surveys being completed, and this has resulted in 37 new charts being produced by the UKHO. So this really tells us that we're getting our prioritisation correct, because if those charts are being updated, then we know that our targeting is working really well, and we're getting reports of hydrographic notes which are features on the seabed that are substantially different from what's charted at the moment. And these have to be sent out to mariners as notice to mariners to advise them that there's a potential issue there with the morphology that exists as being different from what's charted.
So the principal use of what we find out is to be aware of the risk.
Navigational safety.
Yes.
To avoid them going aground or hitting something. Andre, is it just worth mentioning the spiral and
Absolutely. We acquire all our data to Order 10, which is an international standard. It means that we're getting a full picture of the seabed. We're not having any gaps in our data. We can resolve the survey areas that we have, so these blocks, once those surveys are finished, we get to see all of that data. There's no gaps in between it. And what it also allows us to ensure is that we're seeing everything that's on the seabed, because these systems typically are just interested in the seabed itself. But Order 1A allows us to actually make sure that we're finding all of the wrecks and features, man-made objects that have been left on the seabed, so that gives us the confidence we need to make sure that charts are fit for purpose for mariners, especially for the objects that are standing proud of the seabed, for example.